Today we're testing the most chaotic food hacks on TikTok that almost look believable. But let's first start with these Nutella noodles made out of a syringe. Okay, so he first starts by adding some milk to a saucepan and then a nice generous helping of Nutella. But can anything with Nutella really be bad though? Oh. Okay, that looks about good. Nutella cream sauce. Nutella hot chocolate. His milk mixture is looking a lot thicker than mine, but I'm gonna let it come to a boil. And it looks like he adds something else to it that I'm not really sure what it is, but I'm guessing it might be agar powder so that it could thicken up like a noodle. Okay, it looks like it's thickening up. I'm gonna let it simmer for just a couple more minutes. Okay, our mixture got really thick, but now I'm gonna let it cool down real quick before we syringe it into noodles. Now he takes this big syringe and sucks up the mixture into here before he injects it into this tube and then dunks it into ice cold water, probably to set. That is crazy. That is insane. Never have I ever done anything this crazy. No, I don't know how he got it out, but good thing I have backup. Hopefully the air should be able to push this out. What in the buddy the elf is this? Is it actually working? Oh my gosh. Wait, I have to do another one. This is the crazy stuff that the internet invents. You just know there are two Italian men standing there saying, not approved. But does it actually taste good, maybe? I'm scared. It does not twirl. Try this. It tastes like overcooked spaghetti. Honestly? Hey kids, what do you want for dinner? Nutella with milk, said nobody ever. Huh? This is more of a science experiment than it is a food hack, but it was pretty fun. So I'm gonna give it 4 out of 10. But keep watching because we're only getting started with the chaos. Somebody said we can roll this piece of white bread and turn it into a donut. And I don't believe it because why would I want a dense dough ball? So we're gonna try it. But first, she starts by cutting off the crust. Then she sprinkles on some water and smushes it into a ball. Just what we need, soggy bread. But apparently somebody said, don't knock it till you've tried it. It's divine. But now we mush it into a ball and it's just a big soggy lump of bread. Look at this. Her dough ball is looking really smooth, but mine has so many creases. Perfect. But now she just pokes a hole in the center. Oh, but mine's like falling apart. Okay, I can't get mine to be a smooth donut like hers. This is the best I can do. But then in her directions, it says to fry it up, which brings me to our next hack, where you're supposed to be able to fry with less oil using this piece of parchment paper. But first, we gotta do a little origami situation. He starts by folding his paper in half and then in quarters, moves it around and kind of does triangles and continues to fold, and he does it so fast that somebody said by the time I Google how to make this parchment paper thingy, I'll be at the Chinese place ordering takeout. Very cool though, if you can get it. I might just have to Google this. Hold on. Okay, now we fold the sides in. It's kind of like a paper airplane, but not really. Why aren't they lining up? I feel like I did something wrong. And then we have to fold the long sides down. And now hopefully when I open it up, it is a box. Haha! Ta-da! Yay! That actually worked. But will it hold frying oil? Because he places it onto a pan. Look, it even has a handle. Pours in some oil, and all that's left to do is fry our donut. I mean, bronut. Is this actually gonna hold? Or is it gonna burn? This just seems so wrong. I didn't get that satisfying sizzle even though it started bubbling up right away. And now the paper at the bottom looks like it's starting to burn. I don't know if this is a good idea. Okay, let's flip it. It's nice and golden brown. That was really fast. It's already burning. A little too fast. Too little oil burns way too fast. But now we gotta throw it in our sugar. Is this supposed to be like an old-fashioned donut or is it supposed to be like a fritter? What? This actually reminds me of one of those mochi donuts where it's kind of chewy inside. Oh my gosh, this is actually so good. It's crispy and chewy and delicious. I'm gonna give this bread donut hack an 8 out of 10. But this frying in paper hack, my paper started to burn at the bottom and the oil splattered onto the pan, leaving burnt marks all around it. And then the paper is barely holding because it's leaking outside the pan. It's all sorts of a mess. I'm gonna give this hack a 3 out of 10. Just get a baby pan. Now this is a mashup of two things I love, Oreos and sushi. But apparently you can make a sushi roll out of Oreos, which sounds kind of crazy. It looks pretty cool too. So we're gonna start off by separating our cookies from our cream. I think I have to do a whole row here. I'm gonna put the cookie into the food processor and then the cream into a separate bowl. And this is gonna be the most tedious part, but this better be worth it. But I'm getting a little nervous because I was looking through the comments and there were so many that said, is there another step? Because I just tried to make this and it turned out as Oreo mud. Somebody else even showed a picture of kind of looks like a dookie. And somebody else even said, this is what happens when reality hits. So my confidence level right now is not great. But I'm just about done with separating these. And now it looks like we add a little bit of heavy cream to the cookies and blend it up until it becomes a ball. It appears to be stuck. I don't think I need more cream, but some parts are a little chunkier than others. I'm gonna give it one more spin. Okay, that should be good. Ooh, it's glossy. And then for the cream filling, we have to add a little bit of cream and then mash it up into a frosting-like situation. Okay, now we lay a piece of saran wrap down, and then I have to mold this into a ball. Some parts are more crumbly than others. Hopefully they all stick together quite well. Okay, let's put another piece of saran wrap, and then we're gonna roll it out into a nice flat sheet. Oh no. So crumbly. Once I flatten it out, it's starting to stick together a lot better, so that's good. Nice. It's looking like hers, so I think so far we're doing pretty good. And now she spreads on the cream. I feel like this is not enough cream for us. Double stuffed Oreos would have been a lot better. Okay, let's spread the cream out. It's falling apart. I feel like I should trim the sides for it to look better. Okay, and now we roll it into a sushi. Hopefully it does not fall apart, but I feel like the cream is acting like our glue just fine. And it's holding its structure. It's like an Oreo roll up. But I looked through the comments to see why all those other ones were falling apart, and somebody said you have to refrigerate it for a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. I love weird food combos and I've tried so many that blew my mind, but these ones have me questioning, do they actually work? Because it seems a little too good to be true. But apparently if you eat a pretzel first and then a grape, it's supposed to taste like fried chicken. How is that possible? I don't know if he was just on something, but let's give this a try. Salty, like a pretzel. I don't see how a sweet grape would make it taste like fried chicken. It nearly choked and died. I can confirm that that did not taste like a fried chicken. But what if we ate them at the same time? That one 100% did not work, 0 out of 10. But then I found this other video that claims if you pair an apple with a cucumber, it's supposed to taste like melon. Well, let's put that to the test. So she only grabs a slice, she layers them, and let's see if it actually tastes like a melon. In theory, I feel like this should work. This tastes like a honeydew. What? That's so crazy. That works, 9 out of 10. But then this one seems a little bit more unbelievable, is if you take a grape and pair it with a peanut, it's supposed to taste like chocolate? She cuts little slits into her grape and then she places the peanut right in the center. This better not be like the pretzel one where it tastes like nothing, but I just don't see how this is gonna taste like chocolate. I need to try this again. This time I'm gonna put a whole peanut in. I have to say, I think it kind of works. I think I'm thrown off because the grapes are so juicy and that's not how you imagine chocolate, but the aftertaste of the peanut with the grapes somehow it really does taste like chocolate, or maybe my mind is just kind of just messing with me at this point. But you guys try this combo and if it works, comment chocolate because I honestly can't tell. But for now, 6 out of 10. And now she says if you pair an apple with an orange slice, it tastes like a kiwi. The cucumber apple melon worked. I wonder if this will. I already have my apple slice. No. The orange is way too overpowering and then the apple is way too crunchy for it to resemble anything like a kiwi or even the taste of it. I'm gonna give this food combo 3 out of 10. I've seen people make a lot of things in mugs before, but I never thought they would do pizza in a mug because it's so easy to make a pizza toast. But this one looks pretty good. He starts off by cubing his bread and adding it to a mug or a little bowl. This reminds me more of bread pudding. Now I have to add an egg and somehow mix it up to coat every piece of bread in here. I feel like the better way would have just been to add the egg first and scramble it. Now we have to add a little bit of marinara sauce and then a sprinkling of Parmesan cheese. So far this already smells pretty good. And now I guess he's doing a margarita style because he adds a few slices of tomatoes on top. I'm gonna cut mine into smaller bits like this because I prefer my pizza topped with pepperoni. I mean, you can never really go wrong with anything pizza flavored, but is this mug pizza gonna be genius or is it going straight to jail? He tops it with a a little bit of seasoning. And now we have to microwave it for a minute. Whoa, this actually looks so good, but it smells like movie theater pizza. It has a very specific smell. But then he transfers it out onto a plate. I feel like I need to let this cool a little bit. Whoa. Actually though, this looks pretty good. Now he tops it with some fresh basil. Fancy pants pizza. And I don't know how else to eat this, but with a fork and knife. The bread got a little bit gummy, but the taste is on point, and I would have preferred melty mozzarella cheese on top, but I'd say this makes for a really quick and satisfying snack, so I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. I've seen people make butter in a giant mixer, and I've even tried churning it in this gadget where it took forever. But apparently, all you need is a jar and a marble. And this creator said you just need to pour in some heavy cream. I guess I'll pour it halfway up. Somebody said, for the price of heavy cream, I might as well just buy regular butter. But if this works, it'd be pretty cool. I like my butter salted though, so I'm gonna add a pinch. And all I have to do is drop in my marble, make it 2. I'm not driving. This is supposed to help agitate the cream to really solidify it. I'm not really sure what the science is behind this to make that work, but let's try it out. Girl really said she wanted butter, so she made her own. I can't tell if it's actually working, but it's really giving my arms a workout. But now I'm concerned it's like gonna crack the glass inside. It's starting to feel a little bit more stiff. At least I think it's at whipped cream right now. Ooh, yeah, halfway there. We have a problem. I shook it so good and it's so stiff. Now I can't even hear the marbles. Now what do I do? Okay, we definitely just have whipped cream. I'm pretty sure that's not butter. But she continues to shake it until it gets kind of watery. I don't understand. Look, it's thickened up and it's starting to turn into butter, but the marbles are still stuck right here. I don't see any buttermilk yet, so I think I have to continue shaking. My sheer force is turning this into butter. Guys, it's so watery right now. Like all I hear is water swishing, and now I wonder if there's actually any butter solids in there. Do you hear this? Okay, now she dumps out the buttermilk liquid into another container. Oh, whoa. And we are left with some butter. Oh. Whoa, that's it? And now we have to squeeze the rest of the liquid out of the solid and hopefully be able to get the marbles out. How do you not melt it with your hands? Whoa, it's just like squeezing out. Wow. Look at this, guys. I just made butter. That is so cool. But now the question is, how does our butter actually taste? The other question is, how did it get from white to this beautiful butter yellow? Whoa, that was way better than the store-bought version. It was creamy, salty, buttery, and delicious. My mind is still blown how that worked out, but this might be a hack that I could start using. I'm gonna give this 9 out of 10. Apparently there's this hack where if you cut your cucumber in half, rub it together, this bitter foam comes out and makes the cucumber less bitter. Except people in the comments were going crazy saying, who really woke up and thought, how can we make cucumbers have less flavor? I myself have never thought cucumbers were bitter, but somebody else said, never in my life have I thought a cucumber was bitter. They taste like water, but you know what? The internet is crazy, so let's test this. I'm more interested in the foam that comes out of this because who knew? Apparently, this is the juice that makes your pans non-stick. Or not. Somebody was smart and said, works for the initial bite. This chemical is called cucurbitacin. The foamy cucumber juice is bitter and found on the skin and seeds. Remove the seeds and skin to remove bitterness completely. It's natural and commonly found in cucumber, squash, and even melons. Now, you know, it's definitely foaming up, but mine's nowhere near as white and foamy as his, so I wonder how long this goes for. Hopefully not as long as it took me to churn butter. I don't know, now it's starting to drip, so let's just test it. Here's a slice we rubbed, and here's the one that did not get touched. I'm gonna try our hack first and then compare it to a regular slice. It tastes pretty sweet. The texture on top is a lot more glossy than a normal cucumber slice, but other than that, it tastes like a cucumber. Whoa, that's crazy. You definitely taste the bitterness or like the tannins from the peel a lot more. So I guess this actually does work. But then you'd have to do it slice by slice, which makes it kind of useless. I'm gonna give this hack 7 out of 10. This might be the most satisfying cup of coffee or the most stressful, depending on how you look at it. But this creator put a bar of chocolate right on top of his mug and pulls a shot of espresso right on top of the chocolate bar. So let's test it. Okay, now we're supposed to put it right underneath the espresso shot, and the heat from the shot is supposed to melt through the center of the chocolate so that it doesn't overflow. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna pull the shot and we're gonna hope and pray that it does not overflow all over my counter. Let's do a double shot. Somebody said, me, I'm just waiting for the overspill. Shot 1 did not melt it. Maybe I had to do a single shot. Let me try it. Honestly, I don't think it would have mattered because I have 2 spouts and he only has 1 coming out for some reason. It half worked, but nowhere near as satisfying as that video. Even with Hershey's, it tastes pretty good. 5 out of 10. Okay, I left it in the fridge to firm up for about an hour and it feels pretty firm. We ain't getting any dookie here, unless you're looking at the shape. Okay, let's cut our sushi roll up. Whoa! Ah! Whoa, that looks so good. But somebody said that's not an Oreo sushi, that's a Swizz roll. But there's only one way to eat this. I probably just inhaled 5 Oreos in 1 bite, but was it worth it? Yes, it was. Oreo sushi gets 8 out of 10. Apparently, this lady has been a chef since 1999, and she made the perfect steak in an air fryer. But it has to start from frozen, she said. So I have a frozen piece of meat here, and we're supposed to season it with just some olive oil, salt, and pepper. I use the air fryer for a lot of things, but never have I ever used it for steak. I just feel like it's too risky. And somebody said this feels like a culinary crime. This was a nice piece of steak too, so this better work. I guess she just plops it right into the basket and then 400 degrees on each side for about 6 to 7 minutes. Okay. 6 minutes is up. Let's see how it looks. Whoa, look at that sear. Ooh. But this piece of steak is pretty thick, so I wonder how it looks inside. But now we gotta flip it over for another 6 minutes. Okay, the outside is soft, but the inside still feels pretty rock hard. So am I getting a medium rare or a rare steak? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll do 7 more minutes since I like my steak medium rare. Dinner's ready. Now the question is, do we have perfect medium rare, well done, or is it still part frozen inside? I'd say it looks pretty decent, but I'm gonna let it rest for a few minutes. Okay, but before she cuts into her steak, she slathers it with some butter. My homemade butter comes in handy. And let's see what we got. Whoa, that is a super rare steak. Is it even warm or is it cold inside? Some people like their steak like this. Not high. This ain't steak, it's beef carpaccio. It's still cold inside. Okay, but let's see if the edge is actually any good, because that usually cooks faster. I mean, it's definitely cooked, but it's more on the chewy side, and this cut of meat I know is not usually chewy, so I'll stick to the grill or even the cooktop, but this air fryer steak gets 5 out of 10. But if you like this video, go watch me test more TikTok food hacks.